Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, go right ahead, sir. You can ask whatever you like outside of Mullen, because I'm on a cease and desist order. And the only really thing I can say about Mullins is that I did do an independent test for Mullins on their vans at their request, and it passed. Technology proven itself, and they got like a 75% increase. That's all I can mention about Mullins. I will say this. Uh, I'm really a little disturbed. I mean, I know the shareholders are angry. They probably lost 90% of their revenues that they invested before I came in, and some may have invested because I was there. But what they have to realize, they're not the only ones who may have lost money. A lot of people who knew what I had been doing over the years, they invested in Mullins too, and they lost money, okay? So it's a lot of unhappy people, but they're not blaming me, okay? And I just want you to know, and I want the shareholders to know, despite of what they hear, there's two sides of the story. There's the other party's story, my side of the story, and the truth. And I have no reason to lie. I don't have any shares in Mullins. I have no reason to pump anything. David never paid me a dime to go out and speak. I just wanted to be transparent. I'd taken on with a company. I was proud of the technology, and I thought I was given a great opportunity. I didn't hide anything. Even Mullins mentioned that I had a past conviction when they hired me. They did it publicly. So I don't understand why I took such a beating for something that happened 28 years ago. I never should have pled guilty. My lawyer was a real estate lawyer. I had never been in any trouble. And he told me if I did plead guilty, I was facing 40 years. And I didn't know what to do. I mean, I didn't even know I was getting 24 years. They told me I was going to get a non-adjudicated sentence, and I would walk free, and my record would be clear. And I ended up getting 24 years for pleading. And the thing about it, which no one talk about it, I never got a dime of the money. I was already a millionaire living in New York. And I didn't even want to even open up a business in Mississippi. But they don't even tell that part. And then the guy that went down there and made all the noise about I gave him money and got my expungement rescinded, which now they're going to fix it. This knucklehead went in the court and filed a motion and said he wants to stay in. So, but, nobody's publishing that. He done did all this stuff in regards to D.C. Let me just say something to you guys. I did everything according to what D.C. wanted me to do. I didn't walk in on a Friday, sir, and they gave me a contract on Monday. You can record this, because what I'm saying is honest. I don't have nothing to hide. I didn't go to no trade show and D.C. picked me up, okay? I did go to a few military events and generals and all of that, driven my vehicle. They tested it. They liked it. And, they did give some referrals to government entities. I was invited to the White House, Washington, D.C. I met with Hyundai, one of their senior vice presidents and engineers, driven my Chevy boat, okay? And with General Motors, what they don't tell you, I have the emails. I was at the testing ground. My engineering team was there. We even went to the charging stations. They test the cars, show that they work. And the only problem that I had with General Motors, they wanted to keep my car for 3 weeks, and I wasn't going to allow that, okay, because I didn't feel comfortable with that. Then nobody said about Ford Motor Company. All these people sit silent. I don't know who the guy was that may have told the media that they wasn't aware of my technology when I have all this overwhelming evidence and witnesses who was there. And I have the receipt where I had the car transported on an 18-wheeler to GM's test facility. You can't even get in there, sir, unless you have to be signed in, okay? So, but that's neither here nor there. Ford Motor Company, Uh, they had me to go to an independent test lab. I didn't even pick element. Ford sent me there. Okay, I've had conversation with Tanaka, one of the Ford's world top engineers. We had great discussions. I even told him about the Ford Mustang, that the technology battery that they was using, it was going to catch a fire. It wasn't going to work without our technology. True enough, some months later, they had the same issue what I told them. Okay, the purpose of me buying a Chevy Bolt was their cars kept catching on fire, and I wanted to show them that the technology that I had, the car don't overheat, it increased the mileage. We showed that the technology rejuvenated. Okay, so what more do they want? The vice president of Hyundai driven the car. Matter of fact, he stood there and told my team he wanted first right of refusal to be able to do a deal. Okay? So what people don't know, behind the scenes, there were several people who we know, we traced it. They were sending these malicious emails to Mullen, to the other companies and all of that. Anything that was publicized, they were sending out stuff saying, well, you know, this guy was convicted 28 years ago. And a lot of the companies, they were like, we don't even care about that. We want the technology. The man hadn't been in no trouble prior nor afterwards, okay? I was released in 2006. What is going on, 15, 16 years, never been in no trouble? Prior to that, no juvenile records, no anything, sir. I lived in L.A. for 34 years. I got started in my garage. The legendary D. Johnny Cochran helped me get started. And if you Google a guy named Raymond Starlot, he was a real estate investor, developer, all of that. Him and Johnny Cochran got me started. And then when they talk about the patents, the old patents that I have, they're no longer valid, sir. When I was incarcerated, the maintenance fees wasn't paid. Of course, I was incarcerated. And those patents were in the public domain, okay? I filed new patents, okay? Everything I've done accordingly. Even with Mullen, I had to file new patents, additional things. The technology does so many things. And it's really sad that people would post a box with two cables, took a snapshot of a piece of my technology. Come on now, you guys are not fools. A box with two cables running out would not provide you the results that I have. There's much more that goes with that. There's no need for me to show all of that unless they pay me billions of dollars. Then they went as far as to say there was no Saudi deal. That was totally untrue. There was Saudi deals. As a matter of fact, I pray to God we're done within the next 7 days. We have stuff in writing, all of that. And the purpose of the Saudi deal with Mullen, okay, I can say this. I did not want to take on a big contract with Mullen if I didn't have the boots on the ground to help fulfill them. These people talking about hundreds of thousands of vehicles all over the Middle East, and you need a team. I'm a one-man show with 8 independent engineers, okay? So I couldn't take on a deal unless I had the support. And I made it clear I don't want to be sued except for the contract. For some reason, somebody goes out there and David or whatever, I'm not going to say anything. They say they wasn't aware of it. I'm not going to call David a liar or none of that, but I'm just going to say I told the truth. Now, in regards to D.C., let me just say this here so you can understand the politics, okay? I don't get into politics. 90% of my help came from Republicans. Probably 10% of my help came from Democrats. Probably 115% of my problems came from Democrats who attacked me because they just didn't want to see me successful. But does that make me hate Democrats or Republicans? No. But let's just be real about what took place in D.C., okay? Part of the reason that I got the contract, D.C. had Chevy Bolts, okay, that they had Are you there?
Yeah, still here.
Did I lose you?
No, we're good.
Wow.
I think you're switching audios or something, right?
Are you there?
Yeah, we're here. We're here, LH. Lawrence, can you hear us? Can you hear me? Are you still there, Lawrence?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody knocked my call off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
First one.
Okay, let me go back to Washington D.C. Um, I went to Washington D.C. maybe 6, 7 times at my own expense. They did not pay for it. What they're not telling you also, I have been working in Washington D.C. almost 8 weeks. I paid engineers. I paid for their hotels, meals, everything, and I paid the local people in DC who had jobs. Okay, the agreement with DC, it was a pilot program. I paid lawyers to put it all together. They vetted it. They done everything. They checked the cars out before they would even give me a contract, and it took them almost 7, 8 months. Okay, at the time when I done the contract, my expungement was in good order. Okay, so DC found no convictions on me. Okay, even though the people who was helped get the contract, they knew about it. Okay, but it was expunged. They knew what happened to me years ago. But however, my record had been expunged, and of course DC wouldn't find that I was a convicted felon. But even at the end of the day, it didn't matter. I proved with the car. When they said I had a Chevy Bolt, I solved the problems. They vetted the testing. They called. They got reference. They even got the testing companies to send them certified letters that the tests that they had received were authentic. So they didn't just rely on me. Okay, DC done their job. But the problem is, there are those in DC that doesn't like the DC mayor. They want her out of office, which that has nothing to do with me, sir. I don't get into politics, okay? Back when Trump was in office, they made Trump move the fence off the city property that belongs to the city of D.C. And then on top of that, the mayor ordered something where they changed the name to Black Lives Boulevard right in front of the White House. So she's been under attack ever since. So what happened was the moment they could find something to character assassinate her, they used me. Okay? So, and then at the end of the day, when the media is saying all of this, that a former convicted felon tried to con the DC government, that was not true. And right at the time when it's time for me to send an invoice for them to pay me for the $680,000 contract, because remember, I've already paid all the engineers and everybody. I was already out of like 300 plus thousand for everybody to be up there working and have jobs, and I would get mine later. Rather than them standing up and speaking, they remained quiet and said the mayor told them not to say anything. So how would you feel, sir?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we don't know all the details and what happened. So
Well,
we're just.
well, they know, and I'm not hiding it. Never once did DC. They said that part of the reason was Mullins kept saying that they had the contract, but Mullins didn't have the contract. I had the Mullins. I had the contract before Mullins come in. They did send a cease and desist to Mullins, but you know that's between them. So I'm not attacking Mullins. I mean, I understand they got some things going on. I was there to help. I wish Mullins had a follow through. It wasn't about the $5 million. My technology is worth a whole lot more than $5 million. I just figured I would make my money on the back end when they would go in production and utilize my technology. Unfortunately, you got malicious people. They didn't know the whole truth. and then they just went out on attack against me. And
Yeah.
David,
So
David didn't say anything either. I that's why I
yeah,
said what I said. I can't talk about Mullins, but I just wish someone with Mullins would have just said. I know they said it publicly, but just said Lawrence didn't do anything wrong. I didn't refuse to not take any tests. I just wanted to be paid if I was going to do anything additional that wasn't a part of my contract. I mean, we signed a contract in April. You talking about going
yeah.
into August? If I had a did more tests, we would be in almost September before it was done, and I still wouldn't have gotten paid. I mean, I'm doing EPA
Yeah.
tests now, and it's taking a few weeks or
So
whatever, huh?
yeah. So like Lawrence, yeah, I'm on you. I agree. I thought all the testing was done. I saw the report that you forwarded to Financial Journey. I saw that as well. I tweeted that as well. That third independent testing that you did. So seen that one. So I don't know.
Well,
Other than
if a company wants to do additional tests, I'm open for that as long as you're gonna compensate me, okay? And, just like we got a company now that's out of Qatar, okay? And I made it clear with them here just last week with the lawyers. I'm not doing any more independent tests only to do it and don't get compensated. So I told lawyers, okay, yes, they talk about all the money they want to pay. We already got other things on the table. If I do these tests and y'all want a test to be done that shows that my technology can withstand 125 degrees Fahrenheit because it get very hot in the Middle East, okay? So I have them, making them draw that up. And if the tests surpass past 125 degree Fahrenheit, which it have done on numerous occasions, I want 10 million up front. And then when y'all fly me to Qatar to place it on your vehicles, then I want what I want in the contract, which is extremely large. And it
so
has nothing to do with the
so
Saudi deal. Huh?
yeah. So this Qatar you mentioned, is this a automobile company in Qatar, or is it dealer or fleet government?
Well,
What kind of organization you're talking about?
actually, it's some companies come to us, this multi-billionaire over there in the Middle East, because everybody kind of moving quietly. They don't want nobody to attack them. They came to me. I didn't go to them. And I would be in Michigan this Thursday, meeting with them, prepared to do more tests. Okay. I mean, man, sir, I don't done probably about 30, 40 different independent tests. I haven't seen anybody in the media talk about that, you know. So how could it?
Yep.
And if you notice, there haven't been one company that publicly said that Lawrence Hardge's technology didn't work. All they focused on was a convicted felon from 28 years ago. You got rappers, entertainers, and actors that been convicted in childhood or whatever, and they're doing very well.
Yeah, I mean politicians and so on and so forth. So the past is past. So
Yeah,
I think what we like to see or we want to hear is obviously Mullen's side. That what we are hoping for really your technology and Mullen will go together and start changing the world in terms of how batteries being used because we still got shortages, right?
yeah, but
So
I'm not
I thought
Mullen.
that
I'm not Mullen's enemy. Please know that I have
yeah.
never bashed Mullins. I have never said anything against David. I never will. I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I don't know why David makes their splits or whatever. But the first time I did say something, and I did ask them, will there be any splits? They told me no, and I said there wouldn't be any splits. And 3 days later, you guys did have a split. That's all I can pretty
Yeah,
much say. I didn't know. I just asked the question,
yeah.
and they
I
told me
mean,
no. And 3 days later, I get a call that David had split the stocks. So,
yeah, yeah, Lawrence. That's not. That's There's people blaming on you for it. I totally disagree on that front because David himself also said there will be no split, right? And we got two splits so far. So it's something you can control. I can control. Only people that control within is Mullen, right? And they're doing things their way, which is whatever they're doing, we have no control over. So
don't beat up on me because I have nothing to gain by doing a pump and dump for David, as some people say. You know,
I mean, yeah, people will say whatever people want to say because they lost money, so they're they're trying to find a scapegoat, right? So something to blame for. So that's whatever. I mean,
yeah. But
only
let
thing
me
I'm
just say
blame.
this here. Let
Yeah.
me say this here. People, as I mentioned a while back, people can recoup their losses. Mullins know my stuff is real, but it ain't my place to go out there and speak for Mullins as they send me a cease and desist order. But if I was Mullins, I wouldn't allow the big boys to come in and squash the little guys. And now you're gonna see the technology all over the world. And I think some of these companies that's coming behind the scene that's quiet, they probably love that I took a beating. Because now every other day somebody's calling wanting to do business, but I'm supposed to be this massive fraud. I'm smart enough to con somebody, but I ain't smart enough to invent something. You know?
Yeah. I
And
mean, the only way to fight with that is just prove your technology, right?
I'm
There's
already
no
proved.
reason.
Yeah,
There's no reason to attach to someone and respond, right? And trying to explain what your technology is. I mean, nothing matters. What matter is the product in the market, and that's the only way to prove it. So what I'm interested is, you said you are doing EPA testing,
I'm
right?
doing
So
more.
you're
Yeah.
yeah. So
Independent,
so you
independent.
yeah.
Not somebody I
But
know.
make sure the EPA certified. That's all that matters.
Yes,
Because one is EPA certified, then no one can say you do another independent testing. And I'm in the technology field. We do the same
but
thing. We do the pilot program. We do all that stuff. We prove it out, vet it out, and
yeah,
we document it, and
but
the logo prove itself down the road, right?
okay, yeah. But
So from EPA testing, what vehicles are you using to test it? Are you still using the Chevy Volts, or are you using
no,
any other
no, no,
vehicles?
no. Now I'm using a Chevy Equinox. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
also I'm using a Lucid vehicle, which they are providing. And to my
So
understanding, another company called me, and I should have a Rivian truck this week coming, and they want me
so
to do independent tests on that. I remember all the labs that I went to, sir. I didn't pick them. I wish the people tell it. Even with Mullins, I didn't pick the independent testing company. They asked me to do the test, and whatever company you brought in, that's who I did the test. So nobody was doing no favors for me.
yeah, so Lawrence, I mean, I do this with my customers all day, right?
Yes,
And some point you have to say, we have EPA certified. If you have any question, please refer to these, document and this customer, and
yes,
just move it on. There's no point you repeating your test. I don't do that for my customer. I don't do millions of tests for every single customer, right? Be very selective and to prove your ground, and then they could be a reference, right?
that's what I have.
So
That's what I have now, sir. With
yeah,
the element test. Listen, sir. I don't play golf. I don't know how to play golf. Ford Motor Company had me to go get a golf cart and retrofit it. I gave them 300% increase. All they asked me to do was increase it for 10%. I come back with 300%. Okay, Polaris. I don't have no reason to have a Polaris, a six-passenger Polaris that is street legal that they use at airports and amusement park. They brought that, and I
yeah.
test. Okay,
Yeah, so
now
I saw the element testing, so that's good. But my question is on the EPA testing with the Lucid. I know you had mentioned to Finance Journey that you will be purchasing two Lucid, just a couple months back. Is that the purchase that you made, or is Lucid
well,
providing
actually,
you with the?
I was purchasing, but these billionaires now purchase it for me. Okay,
Okay.
and but let me just say this to you. I agree with what you're saying, But some of these companies, they have issues and they want to see that it works on their vehicle, which I don't have a problem with it because they just give more credibility for the mass production because I know it's going to work because it's designed to work on any vehicle and it's an aftermarket product, okay? And therefore, it doesn't kill their warranty or anything, okay?
Yeah.
But let me just
Yeah.
make sure while I have you on this call, that little snapshot of a black box and the cables, that is not my technology. All that is a box that we plug it into, okay? Why somebody
Yep.
posted that? I mean, I
It's
don't know, okay?
they
But
they post what they see, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's why I've been saying on the call that there's gotta be some other magic that needs, which is everything works in the software. Software is the only way to solve problems these days.
yeah,
Hardware is there to assist, so we understand that, right? That's why the
yeah.
FSD and all that stuff is software. I mean, iPhones and some of the enterprise software that I'm selling as well is all software based. There is nothing that hardware can assist to change the world of physics. There's nothing you can do. So
And
that part, we
yeah,
get it.
and you can't store energy in a battery. You have to have a battery the size of an 18-wheeler to get the
Yep.
kind of results that a lot of people talk about. All I did was created something simple, sir. I
Yep.
created all electric
So, so
generator.
again, Lawrence, it's I do this all day from different angles, different industry as well. When you ask 10 customer coming to ask, you have to narrow it down what will be best for you. And you pick up one or two and you write that until that get proven out, and everything will be after that will be sell automatically if the product work as advertised, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So don't be entertaining 5, 10, or whatever request comes in. You write one or two and complete that first, and then
And
you
that's
move
what
on.
I'm doing now, sir. Um, the test. Okay, let me just tell you reason why we're doing these real EPA tests now. The EPA has come down on the EV industry, and they want people to place real time results, not just do a 35 mile per hour dyno test with no lights on, no radios on, and then put a sticker in the window and say it does 250 miles based on driving conditions. You know, what people don't say and what's the difference in my technology is that whenever you see people driving electric cars, you only see one passenger. You never see two, three, four passengers with a load test on it. And these are the things that no one is saying. With my technology, there's been load tests with 3 to 5 people in the car, and it's still getting better results. Okay, so that's the difference in day and night. Okay, and then on top of that, sir, what nobody's saying, if you look at my test results, they turned all the lights and everything on and ran the car foot throttle to the floor, and it still ran 20.6 hours nonstop at full throttle. Now you tell me anything on the market that can do that.
Yeah, definitely not. But I think I think we heard enough. I think it's really that's I've been texting you on the side as well, and I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody, a lot of folks as well. Let the action prove. So what I wanted to
So
really,
so now it's proving it. And now, if I'm not real, why y'all flying off from Saudi Arabia, all these places, fighting against one another to pay me billions of dollars and take the technology? They're gonna take it. They have the resources, and they're gonna upgrade it to a whole different level. And you know that you're in the industry, okay? And the test that's going on now, I'm not paying it out of my pocket. They're paying for it. Those tests is like $100,000 because I paid when I did the independent test. I ended up spending almost 90,000, and you got to pay that up front, whether it fails or it's successful. Their
yep,
job is to test it, to say that it works, give you a full report, tell you how many amps it produced, did it deplete, give you a graph, a scale, and all of that. And you in the business, you have to test it multiple times. not just test it one time, because if each time you test and the tests are not consistent, that means it's not ready for mass production. It has to be equal across the board. So I've done it numerous times. And so now some companies want different type of tests done. I don't have a problem with that. That's just more feathers in my hat, sir. So I'm transparent. So all I'm saying now, okay, I'm not beating up on Mullins. You know, hey, listen, Mullins took some attacks behind me. So now some of the people should be commending Mullen, because if Mullen hadn't given me a chance and it went public, all of these companies wouldn't be chasing me now. You see where I'm going with this? So when they attack me, a lot of these companies say it's got to be something real because they've done further investigation. So they said, now we understand. Okay. For instance, I'll just say this. I don't know how much time you got, but if you give me 5 minutes, I'm done. Okay. All right. For instance, with Ford, because their NDA expired, they only signed a 2-year NDA. Okay. Ford can't go out publicly and say they wasn't dealing with me.
Hey, Lawrence, you there?
I gave Ford, my lawyers work with them. One of the lawyers that's on my team is a 35-year general counsel for Ford. He was their lawyer for 35 years. Ford signed the NDA. I got emails from Ford, a stack of emails where we were communicating, discussing the testing, what they wanted. I have all that in black and white. So Ford can't come out and say that that's not true. I have them. It's public information. My NDA expired. General Motors didn't sign an NDA. So, but what they did do, I have a bunch of emails when they set my appointment for the test of vehicles. I was there. Got people there. About 8 engineers was there. 3 of my members of my team. GM engineers was there testing it, driving it. So you can't refute that. So maybe the guy who said that, he probably wasn't there 2 years ago when I was at General Motors. I got pictures with Hyundai when I was in Washington, D.C. Meeting with the Department of Energy, all of that. So Hyundai can't say they didn't drive the car and test it, and they can't lie and say, give them first right of refusal. So why would it? So if you notice, nobody's coming out and beating up on Hardge. He proven it. Okay? So what my thing was, it may have been a blessing that come out of there where everybody was beating up on me and this and that. And, you know, and my attorney would say, listen, Hardge, you know, Mullins don't want you to say anything. So I know it hurts. I know you're probably angry, but just follow the cease and desist. So, and I've been doing that. Okay. But right now, it don't even really matter about Mullins. I can't say much, but they will be able to utilize the technology too. And now you got a situation with Nikola where their trucks are overheating. And you know what? It's sad to say, the only way they're going to solve that overheating problem is that they use the technology of Hardge. It was simple. I filed the patents on it. And if they don't use the technology, everybody's going to keep having the same problems. Okay? The problem is, sir, with the system I have, it prevents the batteries from overheating. And when you keep recharging those cars, the insulation and the electrodes that's coming out, it causes those components to overheat, which causes a fire. Because when you recharge the batteries and they're still hot, it causes the batteries to heat up even more. You can't get nothing but a fire out of it. Especially if you're driving in Phoenix, Arizona, or California, where the temperature high, and then you run in the AC. Okay? So I didn't do nothing magic. I didn't do nothing that some rocket scientists need to invent it. It was just a simple solution. I come up with it. It solved the problem. It worked. They tested it, and I filed patents on it. And the patents are pending. There you have 300% honest truth, transparency.
Yeah. So
Huh?
I got a couple of questions. The one is, when can we see EPA test results? That's first. The second one is, we can't find any patent file. When you can share that patent you filed. And third is the mass production you mentioned, right? So
I can show
who
proof.
you messing?
I do have a file patent. It is stamped file. That's not a question, but go ahead.
Yeah. So if you can, send me or point me to where the patents are filed, that would be great. And then, and again, the EPA test result, when you'll be able to share that. And then third is, again, mass production, right? Who you're doing with, when you're doing it with, what scale you're talking about, where you're doing it. I'd like to hear.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'll be meeting with some people here soon, up in Vermont area, next week as well, and they're going to also assist with the mass production as well. I'd rather not say their names, but I'll mention it to them. They may even be listening now. If they want to say something publicly about what they're doing, that's fine. But I don't want to go on any further attacks. But I would love to share the EPA test that's taking place additional this week in Michigan. Uh, they brought in some independent people. I don't have to pay a dime for it. They're paying for it, and as well as the vehicle reports. I have no problem sharing that, and I have no problem sharing any other additional tests that has already been done because I want my name cleared. I'm being bashed like I tried to scam somebody for something that didn't work, and the people don't
Well,
know the whole truth.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm getting bashed just to talk to you, and I'm getting bashed, post anything Mullen, because everybody who lost money, right? It is all because of money. If everybody was making money, then we wouldn't be just smiling and laughing, making jokes. But that's not the case. That's why everybody's upset. It's all about the money, and that's what it is. So it's sad. I don't think
Well,
I could ever make up my loss with Mullen.
yes, you can.
But
If I was Mullins, it's just my opinion. Rather than bashing Hardge, I would support him in endeavors because you got some big companies that's about to win, and the smaller people always get stepped on. Okay, and if I was them, I would make sure if that if Mullen really concerned about their shareholders, they would come back and make it right. It ain't about the money because I don't want to see anybody lose their money. I put this out here for everybody to win, including Mullins. Do you know I was the happiest man in the world that Mullen gave me an opportunity? That was the greatest opportunity of my life, considering what happened to me 28 years ago. I've been out here testing this stuff for a while, proving it, and all it took was one person to take a risk, which Mullen did. And then when Mullen take the risk, because it's an electric company, people want to attack Mullins. So Mullins was like, "Well, just keep quiet, don't say anything harsh." But David, they're not bashing you; they bashing me. You know, I want y'all to say something to show that I did everything you guys asked me to do. I worked in your place for months. You didn't pay me. I did all that at my expense to prove to you that I was real. And then after I prove it to you, don't let these people beat up on me. Don't make them think that y'all paid me a lot of money and all I did was hype your stocks. God knows I didn't do that. And I'm saying to Mullins, the people, give me an opportunity. Don't let the big boys take what was in your lap. Okay? That stuff is going out of the country and they're gonna sell it back to the US. And all the people gonna be able to say is, wow, we should have listened to Larry. We should have listened to Lawrence. Okay, if I wasn't real, these companies would have ran long time ago. And then even with the government in DC, you guys didn't stand up for me. And I told them that. You didn't stand up for me. Y'all just let me get bashed. Like I done something wrong. I came in, I proved it. Y'all didn't do no special favors. You did nothing. Y'all, they
yeah,
checked everything but my underwear. So why y'all you know, don't put me in the politics of somebody want to bash the mayor. Just tell the truth.
So there was people out of jobs because of that. That was working in DC local, and they was looking forward to continue to get paid to take care of their families. So when DC canceled the contract, all those people had to get laid off. There's no fraud. I didn't even get paid. They made more money than me because I was paying them and waiting to get paid for my invoice that they pay every 30 to 60 days. And you know something else too? If my stuff wasn't real, the insurance company would insure the technology. And I had to pay $70,000 for the insurance policy. Do you know they vetted that technology before they gave me a policy, sir? Do that not legitimize what I have that was real? And I had to provide that to the DC government. They wouldn't even let me put nothing on their cars without the insurance policy. I don't hear nobody saying nothing about that. You know, ain't no big insurance company going to insure something that could cost them big money. But anyway, what other question you have? Because I'm open to that. I'll be working all week. The early part of next week, I'll be up in the Vermont area doing some business there. They'll work with me to do other mass production. So I don't have a problem with the test. I don't have a problem providing additional independent tests that's already been done. And I just want you to keep in mind, the test I'm doing now is not to prove that the technology works. Some of these companies want to see it work on what they're focusing on, okay? So we don't surpass that. We're going in mass production regardless. But some companies now want certain EPA tests to be done to their satisfaction. So we're doing that, okay? But we've already met the criteria to go into mass production. We have U.S. manufacturers that vetted this product and all of that. They did prototypes, and I'm testing the prototypes as well before I get in the green light to start going ahead and mass producing it as of now. Okay, I don't think Mullen's going to turn down the opportunity to utilize it on their vans and trucks. I don't see why not. They're not prohibited from buying it because it's open to the public when it's completed. Anyone who wants to buy it, they can buy it and use it in their mass production at their facilities from Ford, GM, Hyundai, and all of that. The sad part is this was a U.S. product and it should have been mass produced in the U.S. If they're really concerned and seriously about what they want in the charging station versus this man who created a technology that's going to pass by some of the charging station, they're going to lose money. You know, I think they would have stood for me. I mean, before they allowed just one media company out of D.C. that had a political agenda against the mayor spread that poison to hurt me, okay? And the guy
Yeah.
who, yeah, you know, and then nobody posted I filed a $10 million lawsuit against the guy that went down there and had my expungement rescinded. Then he told people that I got a Porsche from him that I didn't pay him for it. First of all, I don't have a Porsche. I could barely get in and out of the Porsche. Okay, I didn't take no money and send it nowhere, and he knew that was a lie. Porsche had met with these guys, and they said that they wanted to see if I could increase the Porsche additional 10%. They gave me a Porsche. I shipped it to the lab. And before we could we were doing the baseline. Before I could even put the technology on it, because the Porsche was in the guy's name, he went and took it out of the lab and nobody even knew it. And then when he got it home or wherever, we didn't even know, and no technology was on it. And then he go and file a lawsuit, said I was a fraud, I was this, I was that, and that wasn't true. He knew what I did with that $300,000 because the companies wanted my record cleared. And then nobody's saying, okay, when I took the money, now the judge want to fix it in Mississippi. But hell, the whole country know I'm a convicted felon now. But when he gave the money, I got the letters from my attorneys that we sent to him to show him this is what we were doing with the money. The DA and the DA had already agreed. He said, listen, what happened to Lawrence 20-some years ago, I wasn't a DA, but there's still victims out there. So if y'all pay that, we're going to clear his name. So I told the guy, well, you know what? I'd rather you give me the money. Let's go ahead and clear my name so we can do the deals with the big companies. I sent him the email. My lawyer sent him a letter saying that we paid him money, gonna clear my name. He sent me the money. I did just what I said I was gonna do. Had the accountant send him a copy of the cashier's check, everything. Now, let me say this also. If I had done anything wrong, why would you 2 weeks later, after you done gave me $300,000 that you said I didn't do right with, go buy a Porsche for me to go test? Okay. Then after that, another 2 weeks later, you go buy me a $200,000 RV to travel around to the different companies. That don't sound like somebody misappropriate your money. And if that wasn't good enough, now we got the emails. He was one of the main ones writing Mullins, having people to harass Mullins, even called himself subpoenaing Mullins, which he wasn't going to win. So I understand why Mullins was quiet. You got to understand, Mullins wasn't a part of the past. So Mullins probably didn't know what to believe or what not, even though I was transparent with Mullins and told him what was going on. And then the guy, he made a $4 million settlement. He only gave close to 400,000. I got the receipts where it went. He didn't give me all the money. The money went to Mississippi, the courts. He paid for the Porsche, which he got back now, which is 107. He took it back. The RV was put in my name. So when we was under pressure, we was gonna go ahead and get paid. We signed a $4 million settlement, okay, just to pay him so he could go away. Okay, you done went raised all this hell. You done called the media up, got whoever you could to conspire against Hardge, and then now you go in the courts and file a motion because you done heard that Hardge was really real, and you want to stay in and keep your 3% interest in Hardge. But I don't see the media out there posting that. I don't see them going to Nashville and see what really happened. They just beat up on me and got all the shareholders mad, saying that I'm a fraudster. Okay, I filed bankruptcy in 2015. Okay, I had a heart attack, I got sick, and I had to file bankruptcy. The courts ruled in my favor. They wrote off my taxes, everything that was discharged, and the judge made it clear. Any technology that went under the bankruptcy could not be utilized in the future. I had to file all new technology. I had to come up with something new. So everything that I had, all the different inventions, it went up in bankruptcy. I could never touch them in life. So I went out and built a better technology, built better batteries, came up with another fire extinguisher that's the only one in the country that can put out electric fire instantly. Put it on national TV. I done all of that. Okay. So that's the real skinny. Okay. So people out there looking for patents that was filed in 1993, issued in 1996, those patents are not even valid. And then an old fire extinguisher that I had, one of the chemical ingredients that was in there was halon gas. So that patent was invalid as well because when they passed a law that you could no longer use halon because it harms the ozone layer, that patent was obsolete. Then they come up with a product called Holotron, which is just as expensive as halon. So I come up with something, okay, with my fire extinguisher. Some of the three ingredients for a fire is oxygen supply. Those are some of the two ingredients, and heat. That's what a fire has. So I come up with something. Okay, you don't want to remove the oxygen because if you like halon, if you spread it in an enclosed room, people die because they can't breathe. Okay, I came up with something that removes the heat from the fire. If you remove heat from the fire, it extinguishes it right away. Nobody's talking about all the years that the National Night Out around the country used that product in promotions, like when Walmart did a giveaway with a flashlight, and a radio. These companies bought my fire extinguisher. Nobody talks about the casinos that been giving it away when people win as a package. Insurance companies will give a fire extinguisher away when people buy insurance. I stopped doing it because I wanted to wait till a time now because I couldn't keep up with the demands. I was a one-man gang, pre-packaging all of that. I got great reviews. The people who was promoting OxyClean Billy Mays. They picked me up and had one of the highest TV viewing ratings when it was airing on TV. Lifetime, Hallmark, Discovery, Oprah Network, all of that. So guess what? Now the big boys coming in, they're gonna use it to extinguish these fires and stuff. So I can give you the manufacturer. We can talk offline, and you can call and verify that they going in mass production now. My fire extinguisher. I don't have nothing to hide.
Yeah. So
You
yeah,
know.
I think we get it. I mean, I know you're frustrated with your with the folks and your past being looked at again and bring it up and causing some of your frustration. But I think from our perspective and from your side as well, I think moving forward, right? Let's get the
Yeah.
EPA test, move forward, and focus on one or two vendors that you like to go with, right? And get
Yeah.
those things done. And we like to see it. I mean, like I
Okay. Well,
said,
let me say this to you. Yeah. The
yeah,
EPA test has already passed. We're just waiting for them. They have to write up a report. You follow
yep,
me?
yep,
And it may take a week or two, and then they put it in a big report, and they have like 4 or 5 people that signs off on it. So I'm
yep.
just letting you know it's already passed. Okay. I'm just
Okay.
waiting on the report. Because if you see my other testing, that was like maybe 70, 80 pages that they wrote up. You follow me?
Yep.
And I don't know how many pages it's going to be because they've done all kinds of stuff. But I have been informed that it passed, and all we're waiting on now for them to draw up the reports.
Yeah.
Okay?
And please share the what was gonna say the patent filing, right? So if you
Oh,
can,
yes, that's not a problem.
yeah,
Yeah,
send
that
me
was filed.
what you
That was
filed.
filed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have
Yeah.
a whole year to make any changes to the patent. You got it?
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't owe you no lie on that. It was filed. I paid the lawyer thousands of dollars to do all of this. Matter of fact, the lawyer got paid close to $30,000 to file the patent. You know, to put all that together. I mean, they've been around for years. You know, so it's even the lawyer say, Lawrence, don't worry about it. I mean, you got the lead in technology. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know. So,
Yep.
and that's what I've been doing, sir.
Okay. Are you up for a few questions? I know there's a few people asking for their turn, so I'll take one
Go right
person.
ahead. I'm open,
Okay.
and I won't interrupt them. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. I add you on. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Hardge. Thank you. I think a lot of the
Yeah.
criticisms are coming because you have people believe you haven't been able to effectively articulate what it is that your battery technology actually does. So I was just wondering with some type of technical specificity, if you could explain to people with, again, technical specificity, what exactly your battery technology is and how does it work from like an engineering and mechanical perspective. I don't want trade secrets. I don't want patent secrets, but I want to
Okay.
understand that you have a rudimentary understanding of how the batteries actually work.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, it's not a battery, sir. Uh, the technology can be used with any type of battery. Okay. What I created, sir, is a regen system, and we changed the name. Black box was the name that we used in the beginning because some of the guys said, "Oh, it's a black box, and that's what we're plugging everything in." So let's call it black box. But some people getting the black box confused with the box that's utilized in aircrafts when they need to locate an aircraft if it was to crash. So it's considered as an aftermarket. Basically, what it is, it's an energy management system that takes the energy that's coming from the battery that's used to power the car. Okay, when that energy comes in, it sends it back and it stores it. So it's kind of like a screen. As the battery starts depleting, it's replenishing it with the energy that it taken to turn those all electric alternators. Okay, and in order to do that, there are certain things you have to do with the software, which you can't make it up, you can't alter it, and when you plug it up, not only does it keeps the car from overheating, because it's kind of like a regulator too, like a voltage regulator and a transformer to keep the car from overheat. That's why it solves the heating problem. So basically, with this system, if you don't go in the software to make it work conjunction together, and then you plug all that up, we have our additional cabling that we connect to the system, the same standard cables that all the electric cars are using, and we applied that system. So basically, the same stuff can be used on a truck, an 18-wheeler. It doesn't matter about the load. It's about regenerating the energy. And as I mentioned, you can't store that energy in a battery. As you know, when you keep using a battery, it's hot. The more you use it, then you start killing cells. But if you don't have heavy loads on the batteries because you keep regenerating, so if the car is sitting in traffic with the air conditioner on and cold temperature or hot temperatures, it does not affect the temperature of the batteries. Matter of fact, it will save the companies money because you don't need all those batteries now. Okay, you can cut the batteries in half because it's a regen system. So I didn't really do something so extraordinary. It's just something that was simple that everybody was overlooking, and I had an opportunity to take advantage of it. And then everybody that's seen what I have done, they think it's remarkable, and they like, wow, we don't spend millions of dollars. Why didn't we think of
that
this?
seems to be the question
And
that I keep stumbling upon, which is why didn't they think of that? And I'm just wondering, like when you talk about the software, what type of programming language is the software in that you've been able to modify it to make it more efficient?
Okay, well, first of all, let me say this to you also. See, nobody never sit down and ask the question that you're asking. Okay, first and foremost, before we can go in this car, let's say like you got a GM or a Hyundai, right? You have to get permission from that company to be able to unlock their software. You follow me? You can't do it without them giving you permission. We tried to do a Tesla, but Tesla would not give the permission to go in their software. You have to be able to go in their software to unlock it so we can program it
What
to our
language are you
technology.
programming in?
So,
What
excuse
software
me?
language are you programming in?
Now, that's where the engineers come in, so I'm not going to misrepresent. We have a software engineer. These are former NASA engineers, MIT graduates. They go in and program that, okay? And if you ask me, I'm going to tell you, I'm like a fish out of water with that, okay? But I have no problem with you speaking with them. They can speak your language, but that's where all that come in, and that's why we had all those engineers in DC because they were unlocking each Chevy boat. We got permission to go in there and unlock the software, and it's not really doing anything remarkable. It just allows whatever the car does, like it's already doing. To my understanding and knowledge, it shows the real time mileage. If it goes to 486 miles to the charge, it's in there. You can't make it up. It is what it is. It shows the same system, how much energy is being depleted, the last use of charge, what we had. And that's what they designed. As a matter of fact, to my understanding, they're filing additional patents on that as well. But go ahead and ask questions. I mean, I answer the best
No,
that I
I
can.
appreciate it. I'm just
Okay.
trying
Yeah.
to allay the concern that I
Yeah.
have that
So
I think a lot of the criticism is coming from the fact that you can't articulate the specifics about how it works. And when you make such bold claims about what this technology is able to do, especially when compared to, billion-dollar legacy automakers, people with essentially unlimited resources, and you fail to articulate exactly how it works and you use vague terms like the energy going through the wires, that's where
Okay.
people's
Well,
doubt
let me
is
just kind
coming
of,
from.
yeah,
yeah. So
okay.
so
And I can
Raven.
respect that, but let me just kind of
Hold
give
on.
you an idea,
Yeah.
okay?
So hold. Let me. Yeah. So Raven. So one thing I was asking to Lawrence over, I don't know, a couple months now, is the actual pattern. So that way I could see, how the technology works. So that's what I've been asking. So exactly the same questions that you've been asking, Raven. Very valid. It's a software solution, but obviously that is secret sauce that every company is not going to release their, lines of codes.
Yeah, but
because
I
some of
mean,
Right.
that.
Otherwise, they
I'm
wouldn't
not
need
asking.
me.
I'm not asking for
Yeah.
trade secrets. I'm just saying, like, specific to the firmware in companies' cars that he's talking about, right? He's talking about the built-in
Okay,
software,
well,
and he
let me
can't even
say this to you.
articulate what programming language that's in. He's telling me to refer to the engineers.
That's not my scope of jurisdiction, sir. I created the technology. I'm not a software
But
engineer. I didn't
how do you
graduate
create the
with a.
technology without having an understanding of how it works?
Okay, let me explain something to you. Okay, you have a valid question. I'm going to simplify it for
No,
you.
I don't
And the
want you to
software
simplify it for me.
engineers.
I want you to give me the most complex, articulate answer that you can.
Well, I can't give you that because I'm not a software engineer, and I
So,
can't
so,
explain. But
so
they can,
Lawrence, so
huh?
how did you come up with the idea, and how do you prioritize it with the engineering resource?
Well, basically, what I did was, let me explain something to you. I used the technology on a golf cart. That's what Ford had me to do because there's no computer software. Okay, so that's why I'm saying when you ask questions, you'll find out the truth. Ford asked me to do a golf cart. It has no kinetic energy, no regen process. It was strictly direct current. Okay, so I used the system that I had on the golf cart, and they got 26.6 hours nonstop. So my engineers came in and said, you know what? We can take this technology and we can put it on cars. Okay. All right. I know nothing about software with the cars. I'm just being transparent with you. Okay. So uh, it was that they say, look, right now GM is having problems with the Chevy Bolt. Okay. So they said, Lawrence, why don't we go buy a Chevy Bolt, see if this technology would work on the Chevy Bolt. Okay. I bought a Chevy Bolt. He said, we want to buy it because we don't want them to keep it because they could always say they was already working on it, or they could turn around and say they own the rights to the technology. So we went and bought a Chevy Bolt. Ford was very impressed with the car because it done everything that it said it could do. And then Ford was supposed to give us two Ford Mustangs when the engineer said that they wanted to put it on a car, and it was a deal that they was supposedly pay us $250,000 per car. Okay. And the COVID started hitting, and they kept saying they was changing managements and all that. They never got the car. So we went out and bought our own Chevy Bolt. Okay. The engineers said, we're going to bring in some software engineers. We're going to get it. We're going to write it up. We're going to write up our own software, whatever they drew up or whatever. And we're going to attach this system where it can be programmed through the car. Okay. They done that. We sent it to the labs and they tested it. Okay. So I don't look like an idiot on the phone. I'm happy to have my software engineers. They can tell you whatever code
No,
or
I
whattever.
appreciate you.
Okay. But it is in the
I
technology.
appreciate you
Yeah.
trying to clear it up to the best of your ability. I do
Yeah.
appreciate that. I'm just
Yeah, because when they sent me graphs and charts of what they was doing, I had to ask them, what is
well,
all
you
this? They
can't.
had to explain it to
It's
me.
just the problem is that your claims stand at such odds with what you seem to actually know. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying, you're saying, hey, look, I've got a technology. I hooked it up to a golf cart, and a couple of engineers told me this could work on everything from golf carts to 18-wheelers to any kind of battery, which, of course, you can't believe that all of these batteries work exactly the same. You can't believe that because something works on an electric golf cart that you're going to be able to take it out and put it into an 18-wheeler. Like, it's just, I'm not an engineer, and I know that that's a very bold
Absolutely.
claim. So then my question is,
You're correct, sir.
when you're making
Yeah.
such bold claims and people ask you for a rudimentary explanation of how the technology works, and you're using terms like, oh, it sends the energy in and out, and you don't seem to understand like how it's being programmed, or really too much at all about the technology at all. That's why people are skeptical and critical. You don't seem to understand what it is that
I
you're telling.
respect that. Matter of fact, sir, let me say this to you. I would be the first to tell you right now, okay? I created a monster. That's why we brought in some of the top engineers who interpreted all of this to put it in the patent. Okay, I created it.
What does that
They
mean?
take
What does
it
it
to a
mean you
whole
created
other
it?
level.
What does that mean? What did you do?
I'm the one designing the whole system, with the exception of all the computer technology, the software. I didn't know nothing about that. They need to go in and unlock a computer on a car to make
What
it
does that
work.
process?
I
What
made
does
that
that
clear.
process look like?
Mullins knew that as well.
When you design the system, what does that process look like? What software are you using to do that? How is it happening?
I didn't have any software on nothing that
So
I
how are you
did,
designing it?
and there was no software. They designed it. They created whatever they was doing. They said they had to get permission to unlock the vehicles in order for them to program it. Like, we had a car that came in from China. It was in all Japanese, their software.
Lawrence,
They converted it to
all right,
USA.
let me simplify it for you. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is, what exactly did you do in creating this technology? What did you do? Remember Office Space, when the guy's like, what would you say you do here? What did you do to create the technology? Can you just walk us through that?
I've already walked you through that. What I created to regen the system, I did it on the golf cart, and
What does
it
that
worked.
mean? I did it on a golf
They
cart. Does
wanted to take
that
it to
mean
another
you
level.
assembled it while sitting on a golf cart, or does it mean you took something and plugged it into a golf cart? I mean, there isn't even a semblance of any type of engineering speak here at all.
Sir. That's for element to do. You argue with someone that went to a test, one of the third largest testing company in the world, who tested it. We did what we did. They did their
Tested
baseline,
what?
and they did it afterwards.
Tested what?
The vehicle.
Yep.
The vehicle.
What?
They compared the car to what it was doing, and then they did an aftermarket test to show the comparison.
But you can't seem to articulate anything about this technology that you have. All you just said to me,
Sir, I don't have to.
You said I created it, but you're not telling anybody what you created.
That's why I have PhDs. That's why I have people have PhDs and all of that. And guess what? I don't mean to be rude, but I've already proved enough to the people that they offered a lot of money. I ain't looking for no investors. I got people that's buying it. And that's why we have engineers that flew to Saudi Arabia.
I think if you proved
they went to Saudi Arabia.
I think if you proved enough, you would not be sitting on a Twitter Spaces call on Sunday night trying to proclaim your innocence. People aren't going after you. They're going after the fact. Lawrence, people aren't going after you. They're going after the fact that you have provided the investing public and the general public with zero technical specificity as anything involving your technology.
I promise you this, sir. If anybody was to subpoena me in court and I bring my team, they will be totally embarrassed.
Who is this team? Who's leading?
Because we got all nationalities.
Hey guys,
leading the team.
You got another question,
yes,
sir?
Hey guys.
You have somebody else that want to ask me a question?
Hey Lawrence.
Hello?
I'm really sorry. One last question. I appreciate you taking the time. Who's the name of the person leading your technical and engineering team?
Why is it your business? You gonna pay us $1 billion?
You just said you can ask the person who's working on the team.
I
want to know what that person's name is.
I said if you think I've done something wrong, take me to court, and then you'll be embarrassed.
Taking you to court? I'm embarrassed.
My job is not to
court.
So I have a question for you, Raven. So are you invested in Mullen? Is that how you got it?
I have no position in Mullen at all. I don't own Mullen stock, and I'm not short.
Okay. So
yeah, you got an expert from Maryland that's seen a picture of a box with 2 wires and then go on national TV and say that don't even work. I mean,
I'm just asking.
To do that?
You're talking about people from MIT and NASA. Can you just give me the name of your engineer that you're talking about? Who's on your team, Lawrence?
No, they don't want to talk. Okay, can we move on, sir?
No, I think that's a really good
Lawrence,
question. I don't think we should move on. I think we should focus very intensely on that question.
Yeah, Raven, we got your point. I got your point.
I don't think anybody has my point.
No, I've been.
The point is,
Lawrence.
I asked a technical question, and he said that he could.
Raven,
are you there?
No, I'm here. I just muted Raven. I've been asking for Lawrence to provide the technology, how it works, over past 3-4 months. So he hasn't provided that. So what I'm doing now is asking for patents. So that way I will see what the patent is about, and
Not even
how actual technology
patents.
works.
How about anything? Just give us anything. Give us any technical speak at all about how this thing works. Anything. Just give us anything.
So why are you if you're not invested in Mullen and
Because
have no
I'm
interest?
consistently watching people ride this guy's nonsense
Okay.
and piss away their life savings in this stock when this guy cannot articulate.
I have nothing to do with that. They invested in Mullins, not me,
It
sir.
doesn't matter. You are
Mullins didn't
making
get me in this stock.
Well,
grandiose claims,
Okay.
about
Hey,
billion-dollar
Raymond.
deals, and
I can't speak on Mullins. I'm under cease and desist, sir. Let's not talk
Raymond,
about Mullins.
the most folks here, including myself, the reason I got into Mullen is not because of LH, it's because of David last year. So sorry for the folks that jump in the last couple of months because hearing about some of the energy management, that Mullen created as a LLC, right? That's where I think, there's some of the responsibility falls back
Hey,
under Mullen
Lawrence
because
cashed
if they have not
a
do
big
their
check.
due diligence, if they have done do their
I
diligence,
did not get
right,
paid
wouldn't be
$5
here.
million,
So,
sir. That's what you don't understand. I was not paid $5 million. I did not get paid, sir. So I have no reason to be out here. That's what you guys understand. I'm on a cease and desist. I was never paid, and nor did I receive any stock. So why am I under attack for doing the right thing?
So again, back to the point, right? The point is, like I've been asking you on the side, on the emails or texts, I wanted to understand the technology, how it works. What components it's made out of, right? Those are the things I've been asking. And
Those
I
are
haven't heard from
legitimate
you.
questions.
Yeah.
Those are legitimate questions.
So if you provide that would be great, right? And whether it's through patents or actual product demonstration. And a lot of people are upset because, we heard it's proven, it's test result. Everybody's okay with the test report, but end of the day, they didn't see it in writing or in the product, somewhere, some point.
Okay, well, first
right?
of all, okay, sir, you have legitimate questions. You have to understand at this point, okay? I was transparent the whole time with Mullins, willing to open and do whatever, okay? I received a cease and desist, okay? Do I need to provide you copies of that? I received them 3 times. Not to discuss anything from David's legal team. So my statement was, what you're asking for, okay, I love to provide it. But why I have to be quiet and let everybody bash me, okay? Why can't I show proof? Why can't I do this? So now I'm doing stuff independently that has nothing to do with David or Mullins to be able to show that it works, and I'm doing business deals. And I think that is so unfair that they could pick to say what they want to say, but they don't want Lawrence to say anything about production, what's going on with the vans, what's going on with the big trucks. I can't say nothing other than just,
we got we got you. So again, there's no point of talking about that over and over again. Like I said,
and let me just say this to you. Mullins was the question he's asking. The question he asking, Mullins have the answers, but we can't talk. So I'm not going to say anything to be sued by Mullins and explaining what they know how it worked in their facility. So that makes sense, sir?
Well, what doesn't make sense is obviously the Mullen hasn't said anything, right, about the technology itself or provide the public the results. All we heard was from David that you denied doing testing and got a filing that now they're moving on because of these reasons, right? So I'm not here to talk about Mullen because you moved on.
Me either, because I don't want to be sued. But the question that people are asking, Mullins have the answers. I can't give the answers, okay? I can beat around the bush, say certain things, but I can't say nothing in regards to Mullins. Mullins engineers all work with me. It wasn't just me. Those people at Mullins were very nice to me. Their engineers were over helpful to me. I have nothing to say about Mullins people. David is the CEO of Mullins, and David makes all the decisions. And that's what people have to understand. And as an executive who's in business, and if they give me a cease and desist and say, Lawrence, you can't discuss nothing about Mullins business, nor as directors or the employees. Okay?
So let me ask you a question then. Why haven't you talked to David? I mean, only time that you talked to David was when he was coming down to the wire, right? In terms of the relation was going on the side direction. So why is that?
I don't know, sir. I always have a middleman that I have to talk to that goes back to David. He comes back and tell me what the answers are. Okay?
Okay.
I may have talked to David maybe once or twice. Okay?
Yeah, he has mentioned he has never talked to you until things were going side direction, which was mentioned during the financial journey.
Well, I'm not going to get into that.
That's not true. So you spoke to him before April?
Absolutely. I have phone records. My executive team spoke to David as well and his team. I have no reason to lie. And I shouldn't have to do like what I did with GM and Ford to show that they've been dealing with me for a while, But I'm not going to beat up on David. David has expressed what he said. His shareholders believe it. And I'm not going to be out here fighting with David about what's true and what isn't. But I only talked to David maybe twice, maybe 3 times, but I know for a fact twice. Okay?
Yeah.
It was not a bad conversation. When I did talk to David, there was no animosity. There was no bad conversations. The man was very respectful to me. He was. And to hear all this other stuff later, I don't know where it came from. David has never disrespected me, and nor have I. And I could truly say whenever I talked to him, he was casual, he was professional. I never met David. I offered to come to California to meet David, but I wasn't extended that opportunity. I even offered to come to David and sit down face to face with him in California because, I lived there 34 years. I have 4 daughters that live in California, okay? And I would have loved to came and see David and as well visit my children, which I'm a grandfather. About a week ago, my daughter had a son. I would love to have sit down with David, but I just, I can't say much. But these people thinking that I've been given $5 million and I tricked Mullins or whatever, and that's not the case. So why are you beating up on Hardge? I have no stocks. I didn't take none of their monies, none of that. And the $50,000 that David them gave me up front, I spent double that trying to prove the technology. So I didn't gain anything. And then on top of that, having all these different lawyers trying to work with them, I got a hell of a legal bill. My lawyers are still on my team. I didn't fire anybody. Okay? So I'm gonna leave it at that, sir. And I respect the guy. I respect the guy what he asks, but he should be asking David them to explain it. But like he said, he don't have no invested interest, so I don't think David would have any reason to explain his technology, what was done as well. I'm not the CEO of Mullen, so if David decides he wants to discuss it, or his engineers, he has all the right to do that. But David is under me, huh?
Yeah, again, I think I know where's Raven's coming from, right? I had the same question as well that I've been asking you as well. So I think, end of the day, it's good or bad. You and Mullen is on going a different direction, but love to see the technology works. I mean, I'm a tech guy, right? So love to see, what is disruptive technology next.
Mullins is not a fool, sir. Let me just say this. I can say this because I'm not discussing their business. Mullins are not a fool. They have some very educated engineers, okay? All of them was a part of the vetting process before Mullins made any announcements, okay? So David didn't go out and do a pump and dump on something that didn't work. Okay, I want to make sure I clear that up, and I hope that Mullins don't get upset with me. Them guys vetted me. It took several months before there was an announcement made. Okay, I was working with David them, I think, right after Thanksgiving. There was nothing announced till April the following year. So do you actually think, and David know the SEC watches everything that they do, and the engineers, they wouldn't go out there and put themselves on the line for me, a high school graduate?
Yeah, I mean,
That's why I
that's what I
brought my
figure.
engineers in. We had a discussion. I had to bring my engineers in so they could sit down with Mullins engineers so they could comprehend. They brought in specialists, all of that at Mullins, so that they can interpret what took place. All I could explain what I done. Those engineers took it to a whole nother level. Mullins was pleased. Everybody was happy. And when we did those test results, they were happy. Everybody. And I was so proud. Mullins gave me a chance. And I thank David personally for giving me that opportunity to prove that my technology worked.
Yeah.
The golf cart,
Lawrence,
forget about the golf cart. I'm talking about automobiles.
I think we got your point. We're good. So I'll be looking forward to seeing the EPA test results and pattern information so we can, digest ourselves and hopefully you have some timeline for us in terms of, the production line. And, this is more of a
you could just inbox. Yeah, you could just inbox me. I'll give you my cell phone number. And okay, and I rather you talk to the people that's doing a lot of the stuff for me versus me, because people, they already try to put out, you can't believe what Hardge say. But maybe you believe the other people because they have nothing to gain other than to tell the truth. And that's why I'm saying they don't want to go to court. They don't want me subpoenaing all these companies in that tested my vehicle independently and have to come in and say that this man technology works. It's not even about that. It's about making money. I don't gain nothing by out here lying. Nobody's giving me investments, and I'm not looking for investments. Okay? And in the beginning, if you want to know the truth, and I got documentation as well. When I did the deal with Mullins, I told him I don't know if I really want you publicizing my name because of my prior conviction. So Mullins published me that I had been convicted when they did the deal. Do you recall? They announced it in the media. I didn't even want my name out there. I just wanted to do the deal, make money, and live a good life. But somehow or another, they went ahead and agreed to put it out there. And all these lawyers and stuff, we're going to protect you. We're going to take care of you and all of that. And when the shit hit the fan, excuse my French, everybody disappeared. The government, nobody stood up for me. Nobody. Ford didn't come out. GM didn't come out. Nobody. But y'all was praising me up to the time this madness happened. And then used me as an scapegoat in Washington, D.C., because I didn't know everybody was on attack of the mayor, and then use me as an attack the mayor, that she made a deal with a convicted felon. Man, this is so wrong.
Yeah,
and you heard
like I said, we don't know the backside, all that story. So
I know.
Yeah, of course but obviously, we appreciate your time. And we'll just end up here, and I'll circle back with you and get those information from you on the EPA and the patent that you filed.
Yeah, the lawyers will tell you they filed a patent. I mean, I'm not here to promote something that's not protected. Come on, guys. Do you know, I'm going to let you go. As a young African American, everything you do, your life is under magnifying glass. And I knew I had to be better than the rest and even to get to this point. So in closing, if you don't have another question for me, do you have another question by anybody before we go, or are you good?
We got Doc here, so I'll give him as the last person to ask.
Okay.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, I'm here. What's up, Lawrence? It's Chris. I just have a question, man.
Hey, how you doing?
About, I'd say about a month ago when we were talking, you told me that you got your manufacturing for the black box up and going. I was just wondering how that has been going itself, and if you've been able to ship it anywhere.
Oh, extremely well. Extremely well. We are, as I mentioned to you, we are now testing a prototype to make sure everything is working accordingly, and then we sign off on it, and then they can go into mass production. Okay, we're making sure all the components are working effectively, because once they put it on the line and produce it, and if something don't work according when we signed off on it, we got to eat it. Okay, and we don't want that to happen. Okay,
Okay.
so go right ahead, sir.
Last question. You have a website and all that. Is there any way that you could start putting updates on there? Maybe have like a PR representative so that we don't have to wait through, like, sifting through negative comments on your Twitter.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm in discussions with a PR firm, a celebrity PR firm right now, and they're going to come in and take over all the PR. Okay, so hopefully within the next, I don't want to give a timeline. We're gonna have to pay them, and they'll come in and take over. Okay, so I don't be saying the wrong thing. They'll write the facts and the truth, and because we got some great things that have taken place. But you got to understand too, sir. All of this is new to me. I'm coming from a small scale and wake up overnight, and I'm on a big scale. Okay, so if anyone was expecting that I was a company that had 100 employees and had it all together, no, that wasn't true, and that's why I went with Mullen, because Mullen has plants, manufacturers, and vehicles, and this was the greatest opportunity of my life to be able to express my talent and be in a lab and all of that. But one good thing now, the companies are buying me a lab. They're doing all of that stuff for me, which will be a state-of-the-art lab. And I'm proud that there are some people that didn't fall for all what was on social media. And that's why we're going to let the PR company put all that out. I just want the people to know I never lied. I followed counsel's advice when I was under attack and I was speaking, wanting to be transparent with you. All I kept getting was cease and desist notices and to shut it down. Okay? And I don't have a problem providing you that. I don't receive 3 cease and desist notices. If anybody go out on social media and say they want to talk to me, I end up getting an email my team saying, tell Lawrence that he cannot be discussing Mullins. Okay? And the email state that. And I don't want, and they can't stop me from sending emails that they don't send to me saying I can't talk. And I just told my lawyers I think it's unfair. And the lawyers say, pretty much, maybe you should just be quiet and talk to everybody, they've already informed their opinion. You keep doing what you're doing, make money, and live in peace. So if Mullen wants to say something, fine. If they don't, Mullins didn't give you any money. You don't have any stock, so you don't have no dog in that hunt, regardless of what they think, And so all I could do is just, trying this case on social media is not the place. It should be in a courtroom where people can be under oath and tell the truth. And I'm just saying, I don't have anything bad to say about David. I know I hear and see a lot of ugly things. I wasn't a part of that. I'm not a part of the inside meetings. I never was privileged to any of their inside meeting or any decisions that they make. I would hear them in the news just like everybody else, And I just want them to know the truth. And I text them. I told them, you guys need to just tell this. Just do something, say something. Don't have me quiet. And I'm taking a beating out here. These people got bad perceptions of me for something that I did to do right. And all I'm saying is, let me say this, and I'm gonna leave this subject alone. I don't know why David make the decisions that he made. I'm not privileged to it. I don't know if somebody got to him. I don't know if somebody paid him to shut me down because they didn't want the technology to enter the marketplace. All I can say is David them know the truth that my technology worked, and I did everything they asked me to do in testing. Not something I made up. I did what they wanted me to do. I didn't pick nobody to go and rig nothing up. I was very transparent. And that's all I can say. And I just think it's so unfair to you shareholders looking for reasons to attack me when it's not my fault. I don't know. Because I remember it was a 5149. I would have made my money when they went in production. And if you got bringing in, you're going to be selling tens of thousands of vehicles, and my technology is going to be on it, and I'm going to get 49%. That's a lot of money. And I didn't want no shares because I didn't want to be caught up in what you guys are doing right now. People are mad because they lost money. And I didn't want nobody thinking that I was trying to pump my own shares. My
Yeah,
family
Lawrence.
members, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say just closing remarks and just a thank you for spending time with us here, and I'll follow up on your inbox or chat or text, whichever works. So I'll ping you for the information. But yeah, appreciate your time.
Thank you, and I wish the best for everyone. I wish the best for Mullen shareholders. I have nothing to do with the outcome, but I'm praying for a great outcome. I don't want to see anybody lose their monies, anyone. And I can't make the decisions for Mullins. They are investors, and only they can change the atmosphere of what they want with Mullins. I have nothing to do with that, sir. And I'm always available, and you get nothing but the truth from me. And I thank you. You have a great evening. I'm always available, okay?
All right. We'll reach out
Thank
to
you
you.
so much.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Later, everybody. Can't wait for tomorrow morning. Bleh.